All right, and we're live. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Multiverse Show, episode 106, the greatest show on Mondays. We are back. I need to apologize on behalf of the entire crew here. We have been really slacking lately with our really going on air for you guys. As you guys, 2 weeks ago, we were all really busy, really couldn't make time for it. It was really a bad time, and last week was my fault because I was going through a lot of emotional crap, and it really hurt. But we're getting over it. We're getting stronger. We, not me. So anyway, we're moving on to we're getting into some of the topics. We got to do our intros, though, because I don't know who any of these people are anymore. I just don't know. They've just been gone for too long. But anyway, first off on the list here. Oh, Fame can't make it this week. He apologizes to the rest of you guys. He's on call for work, so he's been real busy. It's not been pretty. But anyway, next up, we have the Caesar of cinema himself, Mr. James Wilson. How are you doing, sir? Welcome back.
There is no James, only Zool. Yeah, I'm good. Boy. Yeah, sorry, I've got a parasite.
Oh man! And next up, we have the Don Deletion, the infamous Mike P. The Truth.
The symbiote is my broken brilliance. Yes.
All right, and we also have the Chief of Achievements himself, the one true King of the North, Undead 3X guy, aka Nick.
What's going on, people? I shaved my head and I look like a Russian supervillain.
All right, and we also have the Sultan of Syntax, our one and only Mr. Samuel Tolbert.
Hey everybody, long time no see. Emphasis on the long time. It has been far too long since we graced your presence, but we are back, and we are ready to talk about a ton of stuff. So let's get into it.
Yeah, thanks everyone for doing the Venom intros like we said we would. Well, Mike, you and me, we're on it.
Yeah, I did it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. No, you and I did, but no one else did.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So we got a couple things we want to talk about, but briefly, it's been the first 2 weeks of October. A lot of games have come out. So I need to ask the crew here, what has been occupying your time so far? I know, James, you have finally started playing video games again. You've given up movies forever. What have you been playing?
Okay, well, first of all, that's not strictly true. Movies, I love you. Don't leave me. In the time since I've last been on the show, it's probably nearing a month, which is crazy. I've been playing. I've played 3 different video games. One is Spider-Man, which everyone here has spoken about a lot. Briefly, I'll say it's amazing. It's probably my game. It's probably second game of the year for me. The other is FIFA 19 because, of course, it goddamn is. It's terrible, as I said it would be, and I'm having that hate-love relationship with it. But I'm getting through it anyway. But the other one that I want to talk about is Life is Strange 2. Now, I don't want to talk about it too much because I doubt anyone else has played it. Anyone?
Not yet.
No.
I'll wait for that sale.
I actually downloaded it on recommendations from a few friends saying it was much better than the first one. So
that's what I heard.
Well, I love the first one. It was my game of the year 2015, and yes, The Witcher came out that year. So I'll just let that one sink in. It was different. It was a different time for James in 2015.
It was a different time. I don't believe you, James. I don't believe you. I don't believe Life is Strange was your game of the year because didn't Bloodborne also come out that year?
Yeah,
It
did.
But I don't believe you.
Of the games that I played in that year, I enjoyed Life is Strange more than I enjoyed Bloodborne.
Hold up, sorry.
Okay then.
How come you didn't nominate Life is Strange then?
I did.
We were doing Game of the Generation.
I did.
You did not nominate Life is Strange.
He did. He legitimately.
I named it in my honorable mentions.
He did.
Honorable mentions. That's not a nomination.
Regardless, I've been playing Life is Strange 2, and I love it very much. It's very, very special. If anyone played The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, the free thing that they announced at the Xbox conference at E3, it's very much similar in tone to that. So you've got more gameplay mechanics than you did in the original Life is Strange. I don't want to say what they are because that is a spoiler. which is very annoying when trying to talk about the game. But suffice to say, people who like the original Life is Strange already on Twitter are falling in love with the new characters. And I can't wait for more people to play it on here so we can talk about it properly, because it's a really, really cool and special game. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've also been watching many films because it's a London Film Festival time again. Woo! Key highlight, because of course it goddamn is, Suspiria, the new Italian horror film by Dario. The original by Dario Argento. The new one's by Luca Guadagnino, who directed Call Me by Your Name. This new version stars Dakota Johnson from 50 Shades of Grey, Tilda Swinton, Chloe Grace Moretz. It's also got music from Tom York from Radiohead, so that's a thing that it made me very excited. I haven't mentioned Radiohead in a long time. Let me have this. It's a legit reason to mention them. Yeah, this film's crazy. If anyone knows the original Suspiria, it's sort of a horror film, but it's also just mostly just an excuse to be disgusting on a film screen, and the new one's no different. It's goddamn horrifying, but I loved every second of it because I'm a mental case apparently. Yeah, it's been a busy old time for James.
Nice.
All right, that's dope. What about you, Sam? What you been playing?
I've actually been in sort of a post-Spider-Man / Shadow of the Tomb Raider funk, where I just played both of those games back to back and had a ton of fun doing it, but I've been catching up on a lot of stuff. The news cycle has been unrelenting, so I've mainly just been playing Forza Horizon 4, dabbling around in that, doing some races, doing the events, the seasonal qualifiers and all that. And I mean, other people have talked about Forza more in depth than I can, but it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's the best racing game to come out in the last 8-9 years, easily. No questions asked. Sorry, go ahead.
How are you enjoying Britain?
It's lovely. It's fantastic. Smashing through all the stone walls and seeing the countryside. It's absolutely phenomenal. I love it. Yeah,
just so you guys know, those stone walls are real, and you know that they're just rocks in a wall. There's no mortar or anything. They're just
right.
They're real, and you should. If you drove into those in real life, you would destroy your car. Like you can't just go through them.
I'm aware, so that's why I'm having fun doing it here.
Yeah,
but you can't run over sheep, so the game's a 2 out of 10.
No,
the sheep. The sheep AI. It's the best thing in the game.
The sheep AI. Someone at Playground coded those sheep to be evasive little guys. I mean,
they are really tough to hit. All the wildlife is hard to hit.
The wildlife is incredibly evasive, and you know what? I'll say this: seeing this game and just having fun with it. And I'm not even a racing game guy, but having so much fun with Forza Horizon 4 makes me anticipate all the more what Playground is working on in secret. Like, come on, I need it. I need a Playground RPG. It's going to be fantastic.
Fable kart racing.
The other game I've been playing really quickly is Red Dead Redemption. I have been going back playing that on the Xbox One X because it got the enhancement patch, and so it's probably the best way you can play it now since it's never getting a PC release. And I gotta say, that game came out in 2010, and it holds up really nicely. The texture work, the lighting effects. I mean, the first time you ride into Mexico with the song that starts playing, it's fantastic. It really is. And, I'm really looking forward to Red Dead Redemption 2 when that comes out. So that's going to be a ton of fun. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me in terms of what I've been playing.
Yeah. All right. What about you, Mike? What you been playing?
So I picked up Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I've enjoyed what I've played so far. For those, to give you guys some perspective, this is the first Assassin's Creed game that I've played since Black Flag, and I've enjoyed what I've played so far. I like the world. I really like the combat, especially compared to the earlier Assassin's Creed games. It feels a lot more free-flowing. I've only played it for about 2 hours so far because, quite frankly, I haven't been able to stop playing Forza Horizon 4 whenever I turn on my Xbox. I'm going to echo Sam's thoughts on it. It's absolutely brilliant. I agree. It definitely is the best racing game to come out this generation, maybe the past 2 generations, definitely. The seasons that are in the game, it's not just a gimmick. They're really beautiful, and it really does change the game world in a meaningful way. So I've been having a ton of fun with it. There's a lot of content. The world is expansive. Britain and Scotland that's in the game. My only complaint.
No. Scotland is part of Britain. Carry on.
Listen here.
Yeah.
Well, my only complaint compared to Forza Horizon 3 would be that the world in 3, Australia seemed a little bit more varied in terms of the landscapes, but overall, Forza Horizon 4 is the better game out of the two, and it's my favorite racing game of the past 2 gens, at the very least. But other than that, I did pick up Black Ops 4. I said to myself, I said, you know what? I'm not going to buy it at launch. I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold off.
It doesn't matter that you told yourself that. It matters that you told me that. You said, no, we're not getting Black Ops 4. I said, okay.
Anyway, and I couldn't resist. I've been playing that. It's great. I've been having a blast with it. It's the best Call of Duty game that I played since Black Ops 3, which makes sense because it's Treyarch, who's the best Call of Duty developer. So that's what I've been playing.
Nice. I'll say this. I would probably...
the best Call of Duty developer was Infinity Ward in the early days.
No. Treyarch is always better.
Sorry, Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2 don't count.
World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. Those were the best.
COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2.
Here's the thing. Let me say this, okay? I'll offer my take on it, and then we can move on. Because we have a lot to talk about, including Venom. Infinity Ward always delivered the best campaigns. The campaign aspect, Infinity Ward nailed. As a whole, complete package, Treyarch has always been on top. Carry on.
I even disagree there. I think that the Black Ops campaigns in particular was still even better than anything Infinity Ward.
Not Black Ops 3,
dude. Campaign. One good
campaign.
I'm
not talking... No, Black Ops 1 and 2 were good.
No.
Black Ops 1 was amazing. Black Ops 2 was like, hey, it actually had multiple endings and side missions, things that Call of Duty forgot exist. But anyway, sorry.
I'm just speaking in terms of multiplayer. Treyarch is the best COD developer, and it's head and shoulders over Sledgehammer and Infinity Ward, in my opinion, for a long time now.
Yeah. All right. So, Nick, what you been playing? And we'll start doing some deep dives on some of these games in a minute.
Well, I haven't been playing Trash Ops 4, and I just want anyone to realize if I ever tweet out that I bought Black Ops 4, that it's because I've been kidnapped, and that's my secret code word. Also acceptable is I agree with that my safe word is also Mike was right. I just want everyone to know that. Well, I've been playing a little bit of a wide range of things because I'm trying to not burn myself out before Red Dead. So I avoided Odyssey because my game share partner bought it. I'll play that at a later date. I tried to play Shenmue, but really, whoever developed those quote-unquote remasters needs a slap in the face because I can't get past the first hour without the game glitching out and not letting me continue through the story. So, and after 3 new game attempts, I just uninstalled it and I'm going to move on with my life, unfortunately.
But the very important question, Nick, did you find any sailors?
What?
All right, you really haven't played any of Shenmue.
Yeah, no,
wow, you really didn't get far at all.
No, spoiler alert for like the first like hour of a like almost 20-year-old game. So as soon as you get to control your character and go into town, you're supposed to like interact with the kid with the cat, and then you walk into the next section of town, and there's supposed to be a cutscene that triggers with a woman who's looking to find something, and you have to take her to the house. Yeah, can't get that cutscene to trigger for the life of me. I literally walked around the town for an hour on my first save, talking to everyone, and they're like, "Oh, we don't really want to talk to you," or blah 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 blah. I'm like, "What's going on?"
I don't want to talk to you either with that attitude.
Did you talk to the women by the phone booth?
Yeah. They just gave me a quick blurb, and that was it. I was like, what the hell? So I went online, and people are like, oh, yeah, this glitch happens. It's like a 50-50 chance. So just keep reloading and try again. I'm like, really? So I'll probably reload and try again because I really want
This
to
is
play
a game that doesn't want to be played.
I really want to play these games because I've been enjoying Yakuza, and Yakuza's, spiritually connected, so to speak, with this game. So I want to see what the original game was that influenced a game I love, but way too frustrating. So
See,
after getting fed, yeah.
No, so I'm saying the amazing thing is that if you stayed on with the glitched version and played through it, you actually get an early demo to Death Stranding.
Oh my god.
That ain't right. That ain't right.
You know what's interesting about Shenmue? I don't know if you guys have seen it. Digital Foundry actually published the video.
Yes,
but there was actually supposed to be a proper remake of Shenmue 1 and 2, and it got canned for whatever reason in late 2017. And it was actually the same developers that worked on the current HD version. So for whatever reason, that proper remaster got canned, and we got what we got now, which is basically just the original games upscaled to HD.
Wow. All right.
So whenever I got frustrated with that, I went back to replay Doom because Doom's amazing.
Doom is life.
Doom is life. And I'm really enjoying that. And the Pro/Xbox One X enhancements make that game even more smooth than it already was. So, yeah, that's pretty much been it. There was something else I was playing, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, I've been PUBG occasionally, and I've been playing a indie game on PC called Not Tonight, which is in the style of Papers, Please. And it's in a post-Brexit England.
Oh.
And it's pretty interesting.
Oh, so it's one of those
I thought it was about your home life. Not tonight. Not tonight.
Listen here, boy. Let's not start taking shots here.
I know I'm fragile. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
That was the most uncalled for joke we've ever had.
Nah, I'm pretty sure I've made some worse ones.
Anyway, so I know for me, and I know Nick in the chat, Italian Nick, actually has asked me to sell Assassin's Creed Odyssey to you guys. Well, I'll do that in a minute. So what I've been playing a little bit of Sea of Thieves. Kind of broke off from it for other reasons. I played some Forza Horizon 4. Again, kind of fell off from that for a little bit until I found they put my car in the game. They have a Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor, and I'm like, yes, because I actually do drive a Police Interceptor. So I'm like, let's see how close I can get this to real life. And I will complain that although this is a 2010 Interceptor, I have a 2001. The only difference is, like, when you're flooring it, this thing taps out about 90. No. No, that's not accurate. If you floor it in a Police Interceptor, even a 2001, you're going 120. You're going for it. So, anyway, other than that, I have been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and your boy got by that Fallout 76 stress test. So I got to play a little bit of Fallout 76 early. I can't talk about it, but I can say I played it.
Can you talk about when you can talk about it?
I can talk about it when the beta comes out,
okay.
which is like next week, so it's not like a big deal.
Okay, right.
Or it's a week after, I think. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Can I ask you a quick question about Fallout?
Sure.
In regards to setting, is it like almost heaven in West Virginia? The Blue Ridge Mountains and the Shenandoah River.
I can say.
Is life old there?
I wish they would take me home. Go country roads.
The country roads, yeah, okay, yeah.
Anyway, it's I can't say anything about it. Other than that, I have really had a good time with it. So we're going to kind of transition to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Out of the group here, who's played Odyssey? Anybody?
I played a demo.
I've played it briefly, a couple hours.
No.
Nick,
I know Nick hasn't played it. Sam?
No, I have not played it.
Okay.
I did play Origins, which I'm led to believe is pretty similar.
I'll get into that in a minute. So if you guys are on the fence about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, listen to this, or don't. If you don't want to spend $60, don't listen to me. Tune out right now. Come back about like 5 minutes because I'm gonna geek out about Assassin's Creed Odyssey for a minute. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I firmly believe that if this game had come out last year when Origins was supposed to come out, and there was the hype about, they took the year off to redesign Assassin's Creed, this game would be talked about on the same level, if not above Witcher 3. This game, people would be flipping out about this game because this totally redefines Assassin's Creed. And now, if you still believe, like I do, Assassin's Creed should be more stealth-based and such, I'm sorry. This is different. Things have gotten way out of control here. Like, don't. You just forget that the fact that it's Assassin's Creed and just realize this is an RPG from Ubisoft. This game is a blast. This game has where Assassin's Creed Origin was like. Ubisoft walks up, strolls over to Ubisoft Montreal, is like, hey, buddy, puts the leg up on the desk, says like, hey, we want you to make Assassin's Creed, but we want you to do it like an RPG, but we want you to put like a little splash of Witcher 3 in there, just to give people a taste, just to give people a little interested. That's it. And so they put out Origins, people liked it. And it's like, there's 1 year later they come by and they stroll over there, kick up both feet on the table, and say, hey, want to do it again? But dump all that Witcher 3 on it. Like they have side quests galore with multiple endings, and not just like, okay, here's a little BS kind of side quest, but like sizable side quests that mean something. And like they actually have memorable stories, things I can actually recite to you happened. You have your own ship. The naval combat doesn't feel tacked on. It feels unique. It is the Greek RPG I didn't know I needed. It is a total blast. I love it. I've had so much fun playing this game. I cannot sing its praises enough. Like, the fact that people were talking down about it because, they didn't take a year off. No. This game is good. Not just that, but like the faction system is fun. Because you don't have to pick Sparta or Athens. You could pick both. You could pick neither of them. Like, there's no official, like, I have to sign up with this one. And that's it, like a Bethesda model. This is like, if you feel like taking out Sparta, go take out Sparta. You feel like taking out Athens, go take out Athens. You can play both sides because you're a mercenary in the game. Your allegiance is by whoever has the most coin. It is so much fun to play. And they have so many little systems in the game. But the mercenary system, I really do not have enough time to talk about how amazing this game is. But for the love of God, if there is a game you need to pick up before the end of the year, it is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It is an absolute blast. It is so much fun. And little things like they remember what you did. Like to the level like Witcher 3, where it's like, you decided to do this side mission and you had this outcome. Some random person later in the game is going to remember what you did, and that changes your outcome in that scenario. I can't go into detail about what happened, but you'll get an idea. The only thing I will say is kind of overblown is the romance option. It's pretty lame. It's choose the love option if it's there, and you're going to win. You'll get what you need. Like it's pretty straightforward. We're not talking Mass Effect levels of, romancing a person.
You still haven't brought up the fact there's unicorns, though.
I have not seen any unicorns.
Okay, very important question. Anyway. Cassandra or Alexios?
I chose Alexios in this case because everybody else is choosing Cassandra.
And because you hate women?
No. No, I figured I wanted to see something a little different because everyone else is choosing Cassandra as the default this time. I just want to say, okay, I'm going to choose Alexios just because I want to see somebody different in this case. I will say I have a set of armor that makes him look like Kratos, which is badass. Like he has like pale skin, the red markings all over his body, and it looks pretty badass. So, It's pretty dope. I've had a lot of fun playing this game. Any other questions?
So the only question I have is, I guess, on your experience, based on where you are in the game, are the microtransactions that you don't need to purchase, should add, really as obtrusive as it was made out to be?
I have not seen an ad for a microtransaction. I have not. I didn't even realize there were microtransactions because I didn't pay attention to this game until I think someone pointed it out to me, and I went to like a tab, like on the menu. I said, "Oh, those are there." I mean, I will say to some people, if you're the kind of person who plays an RPG, never does any side missions, and just only does the campaign, you're gonna hate this game. Like, because there is a grind level to it, but it's like if you just like do side missions at like a decent rate, it's not a problem.
Right.
Like, go up a level, do a couple side missions, do the story mission, move over, do it again.
So the way that you're describing it sort of sounds like this is the analogy that we use all the time. Odyssey is the Assassin's Creed 2 of Origins.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Where like the first one came out and it was good for what it was, but it wasn't great. This is the great version of Origins. Like it's to the point where like I could say like, okay, go back and play Syndicate, go back and play Black Flag, years later because there's something there that made it unique and fun. But this is like, just skip Origins. Like, just go play Odyssey instead. Like, if you really like the Egyptian setting, then yeah, go play Origins. But in terms of mechanics, Odyssey does everything better, and it's just more fun. But nice. That's my opinion.
Nice.
Have you kicked a bear?
Yes. And by the way, the Spartan kick thing is one of the best abilities you can level up because gravity hurts everybody. Like, I was doing one mission where I was trying to kill a cultist, and he had like a guy who was maybe about 10 levels higher than me, and I was like on this, like I was like perched up like on a quarry wall, and like the guy found me and came up to me to try and kill me, but he came up and I Spartan kicked him off the wall, and he fell to his death. So I killed a guy who was 10 levels above me. And I was like, yes.
Nice.
But like then someone else did it to me and I died. I was like, oh, oops.
Works both ways.
So yeah, it was fun. But yeah, it's a good fun. Anything else?
So would you say that Odyssey is your game of the year as of now?
My game of the year? It's definitely a contender. Definitely top 3, maybe top 2 right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I have to reevaluate what came out this year before I make that decision.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Because I know right now my game of the year contenders. I know I have Sea of Thieves is on there. I know
that didn't come out this year.
Far Cry 5. Yeah, it did. Far Cry 5.
Really? Oh god.
God of War, Spider-Man, and I gotta see. When Fallout 76 comes out, I'll see how that goes. But yeah, those are my kind of top ones right now. I don't have an order for any of them, but I will. I'll get to that when I get to that. So, but I have loved Odyssey. So we got to go to the other topic. Sorry, I ranted.
No, it's fine.
So Mike, Black Ops 4 came out last week on Friday. So I know you've played it. You've played it more than I have. What are your thoughts about Black Ops 4?
Honestly, I think it's great. It's typical Treyarch map design. So you have 3 lanes, maybe a couple flank routes on each map. All of the guns feel viable. The game does kind of feel like it's more of an assault rifle game, at least with how most of the maps are designed. But SMGs have their uses too. I actually see more people using LMGs in this game than I have in previous Call of Duty games, which is interesting. I guess because a lot of the maps have longer sight lines. Snipers aren't really annoying like they have been in other Call of Duty games. It is boots on the ground for those of you guys that haven't been following along with it. It is boots on the ground, visceral, whatever other words you want to use to describe it.
Rainbow Six Light.
You can get some pretty decent air when you slide and then jump out of a slide, but it's not really it's boots on the ground. I said maps are good. The guns all feel viable. It really does kind of feel like Overwatch combined with Black Ops 2. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from the game, and that even extends to the maps as well, because this is something that some of you are going to like, or some of you aren't going to like, because a lot of the maps in this game are recycled from older Black Ops games. So, for example, you got firing range in there. Yeah,
that is a problem, dude. Like they've been doing that a lot the last few years, like where they've just been putting in, oh, here's the old map redone. This one's pretty blatant. Like a lot of the maps are just like, here's the old maps again.
It really is. But the difference then was they were re-releasing those old maps as part of the DLC packs. Now it's like the older maps are part of the base game, which, you know, the old maps were good, but at the same time, I'm not really crazy about that. Like when half of the maps in your new Call of Duty game are old maps, you got a problem. So you got like firing ranges in there, you got Summit in there, you got Jungle from Black Ops 1. Hacienda is a new map, but it's basically the new version of Raid from Black Ops 2. So that's definitely a complaint that I have. It's also not a team deathmatch game. If you're somebody that likes to play team deathmatch or kill confirmed, I don't really think you're going to enjoy this game. It doesn't feel the way that the maps and the way that the specialists especially are structured, it's not really meant to be a game that's for team deathmatch. You're really going to play the objective-based modes like control, domination, hardpoint, that kind of thing. I've just been playing the standard multiplayer. I don't really play too much of zombies. I played a couple matches of Blackout. Blackout is really good as well. I do think the only battle royale game that has a chance of dethroning Fortnite at the top. It's really, really polished. The visuals are improved from the beta. The visuals were like potato graphics. They did clean up the visuals a bit. The gameplay is really smooth. Overall, I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, this is the most fun I've had with a Call of Duty game since Black Ops 3. It's clear at this point that Treyarch is head and shoulders the best developer for Call of Duty, followed by Sledgehammer and then Infinity Ward. So,
I got the impression that I felt like overall, I felt the game was kind of phoned in. Like, I don't know what it is exactly about it. Maybe because Beanox is listed as a assisting developer. Maybe that might be it. But
I don't take. I mean, take this with a grain of salt. But I have heard that from a lot of people that I trust that there were a lot of problems in this game's development. That they were trying to chase the Overwatch crowd initially, and things got redesigned and scrapped even 2 years in. So without playing it, but just hearing that, it wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. But I'm glad that Mike is enjoying it. I'm glad other people are enjoying it all the same.
Although I can appreciate Ivan's perspective on it, I can see where people would get the impression that it is phoned in because there's maps, there's specialists, there's guns that are reused from previous Call of Duty games. They might just have a different name or something like that. Like under the DMRs, I think it's the ABR 223. It's got a different name, but it's basically the AUG from the first Black Ops. There's a 3-round burst.
It's Swordfish. Yeah, I liked the gun because I was like, this is the AUG.
Yeah, exactly. There's a pistol in there. It's a 3-shot burst. It looks different. It's got a different name, but it's basically the same as the 3-shot pistol from Black Ops 2. So I can appreciate that viewpoint as well, because there are a lot of reused / recycled elements in the game. I do think the game is fun. I'm having a lot of fun with it, but I can see that viewpoint as well.
Mike, Italian Nick has a question in chat. He says, "Is Blackout closer to Fortnite or PUBG?"
I would say it's probably closer to PUBG. It's not as cartoony as Fortnite is, and it's a little bit. I don't want to say that it's grounded because none of these games are really grounded.
There's zombies in the game. It's not grounded.
There's zombies in the game, but you also can't build something right on the spot either.
Yeah.
Not with that attitude.
What? No, what Italian Nick is referring to is I had an argument on Twitter with him and a couple others. I personally believe that in terms of mechanics, the game is closer to Fortnite, namely because, yes, there are vehicles, but it's not like, oh, this is the only way to get around. There's a lot more cartoony aspects of it in terms of it's not like shooting for realism. It's not really trying to do anything. Like what I'm referring to is, yes, aesthetically it looks like PUBG because it's shooting for more of the realistic, aesthetic. It's not shooting for cell shading cartoony stuff. Where PUBG is not so much the guns as much as it is map knowledge and tactics of realizing how people are going to move. I mean, this is Call of Duty. It's never been about tactics. It's just about who's quicker on the draw. But that's what I'm referring to. At least in terms of how the mechanics are set, the game is closer to Fortnite than it is PUBG. But it looks a lot like PUBG.
The main thing for me, and this is just off of playing the Blackout beta, so take this with a grain of salt. If they were going to make a Battle Royale mode for Call of Duty, there's one key mechanic a lot of first-person shooter developers have added in. Call of Duty, even, I'm pretty sure we're one of the first developers to start using it. I'm pretty sure they used it in Call of Duty Ghosts. There needs to be some sort of lean option because, like, this whole, like, I've played Rainbow Six Siege, I've played PUBG. I'm used to being able to, like, tilt myself, lean. And, like, with Blackout, I constantly sat there, and it was just like, I wish I could lean right now. Having a full-on step out to shoot someone's really annoying. And I don't know.
You're right, that wasn't Call of Duty Ghosts.
Yeah, in Ghosts, if you're close to a piece of cover, you could, like, if you aim down sights, you would kind of, like, peek out a bit.
The one thing that's worth mentioning about the beta, too, not the beta, the full game Blackout, in the beta, one of the problems that I had was level 3 armor. There was too much of it, I felt, and it was annoying. They've, at least based on what I've played, they've toned that down a lot in the full release. Like, I haven't picked up a piece of level 3 armor just in, like, a house or just laying around somewhere. I'm almost 100% sure you could only get it out of crates. So
that's good, because that was a complaint I had in the beta, is it seemed like everyone had level 3 armor, especially when you got down to, like, the final 10, final 20 kind of deal.
Yeah, if they do, but my bigger problem, at least in terms of the game, is just because with Call of Duty, time to kill is important, and you get to the point where you're instinctively predisposed towards a certain amount of power. Like, okay, you instinctively know how many bullets it takes to kill somebody with whatever gun you're using. But in Blackout, you really have no clue because you don't know the armor they have on. And you're like, do I just keep shooting until they're dead? I emptied 3 clips on a guy. You're taking a long time to kill anybody. And you go through a lot of ammo.
Yeah, and that's happened to me too, where I could be shooting at somebody in Blackout, and I've died because I've stopped shooting them. Because I have kind of like a memory, like, okay, this person should be dead, and I've stopped shooting. And I've ended up dying because of that.
It's just one of those things where you gotta. It's a little frustrating to me, and it's probably the reason why I'm not going to play it long term. It's just because I don't want to deal with that. But last thing about Black Ops, has anybody actually done the story? Anybody?
What story?
I don't have it.
Exactly. There is something called Specialist HQ. It basically provides the link between Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, and it's really dumb. It's really, really dumb. It's
cool.
Basically the chick you save in Black Ops 2 grows up, gets married to Mason's daughter, and they have a kid. Sorry,
do they ask
Mason
the kid,
Jr.'s
like,
daughter.
Is the kid doing an entrance exam and they keep asking him, what do the numbers mean?
They do make a numbers reference, but basically what they'll do is she hires a bunch of specialists from throughout the world, and you see like the guys who become their versions, like Prophet and Nomad. You see like the earlier versions of them before they upgrade, like in terms of their like physical and technological appearance. You see them before they upgrade, and you see what they were good at and things like that. But what they're doing is it's all in like a technical simulation, and they got Woods back as the AI leader of the technical simulation. That is justifying the game modes, saying it's all a simulation, and that's it. So, and it's like 30 minutes of cutscenes that just hidden between things.
Yeah, it sounds dumb.
It is really dumb. But anyway, it was cool to like, okay, that serves a link that I would have liked to have in Black Ops 3. I was very confused in Black Ops 3. Like, how are we here again? What happened to Mason? What happened to Mendoza? What happened to everybody else? I thought this was a continuation, but I guess not. So, anyway. Other than that, I know we've had some news going on. Sam, what's been the major story of the day? What's been going on?
Just today.
Just today.
The two big stories today, at least going by our site traffic, has been Red Dead Redemption 2. A lot of stuff broke out there, and I'll break it down to a couple of pieces. For starters, it looks like it's going to be a 60-hour game. It was originally 65 hours. They had to cut some stuff that wasn't working. For example, there were originally two love interest. One of them got cut because Dan Houser, he's the head of Rockstar Games, said it just wasn't working out. So it's still going to be well over twice the size of the original Red Dead Redemption, and insanely well polished. They've had like 1,000 people working on this, so that's pretty exciting. What's not exciting is the controversy that has erupted over Dan saying that they've been working 100-hour weeks, in the plural, in 2018 in the lead up to launch. And he's since backtracked and said that it was just him and a couple of his writing staff. A lot of other people are saying that it's not the case, and that Rockstar is especially Rockstar San Diego and Rockstar North, are really horrible for their grind and things like that. And the crunch time that they're being required to put in, we don't know. But it's causing a big mess on social media, to say the absolute least. So that's something there. Any thoughts? Or?
Well, I got one because I remember this back when I worked at GameStop back when Red Dead Redemption came out, way back in the day. I had a friend that worked there, and there was the story that was going around just about 2 weeks before Red Dead Redemption launched, and it was a very similar story, 90 to 100-hour crunch week. People were passing out at their desks. All this sort of thing. Same thing happened with GTA 5. If you actually click, I think it's on Jason Schreier's tweet on his article on the grind and what the developers go through, there's actual ex-Rockstar devs in there saying, yeah, when we worked on GTA 5, we worked 114-hour weeks, and we worked X amount. Like, there was even one in there that's a verified ex-Rockstar dev that said that, you know, they did 6 months leading up to GTA 5 of 100+ hours weeks.
That's insane.
Well, you think about it, there's only like, I did the math. There's like 106, I think it's like 167 hours in a week. So 100 hours of work minimum. So you say 100 hours of work, you divide that by...
it's 7.5 hours of sleep, and that's it.
Yeah, that's all the time you have.
Yeah, that's like literally putting your cot or your blanket and a pillow in your desk and eating there, showering there, things like that. That's not healthy.
Yeah, that's insane. It's not.
Like, I'm sorry, like, I understand developers that put a focus on their polish and things like that. And I understand having to go overboard on your time sometimes. Like, that is going to happen, okay? It's impossible to avoid that. But let these people go home and sleep. Let them see their families. If you have to delay the game another 5 or 6 months because of that, so be it.
I mean, I guess it'd be fine if you were going through a breakup of some sort. Like, I don't want to see anybody. I just want to work. But other than that, no, it's terrible. Like, that's really bad. Here's the other thing too, and I saw this sentiment on Twitter, and it kind of pissed me off because there were people who were like, "Let's boycott Red Dead as a way to tell them not to do it. And I'm like, go ahead, do that. That's fine. Then other people were like, boycotting Red Dead won't solve the problem. Like, it's like other developers do it too. And I'm like, but why is it just because it's Rockstar and you really want to play Red Dead? Is that really what it is? If you really care this much about the crunch thing, don't buy it.
No, because the thing is no one's willing to admit that the crunch is an industry-wide problem that tons of developers have talked about. That's the problem.
There's even a bit in the documentary about the making of The Last of Us where you meant that one person says the word crunch and then it's just a compilation of all the different people who worked on that game going, oh my god, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, the thing is you have to look at these studios that release these highly polished games, Naughty Dog, Rockstar. All of these studios have multiple on-paper stories of the crunch being ridiculous. Like, you look at the lead up to Uncharted 4, you look into some of the details leading up to that and the crunch that Naughty Dog had to go through to get that game out the door. It's absolutely insane. And it's also worth noting, too, that, the developers need to stand up for themselves, because there was that story that came out just before God of War released that Cory Barlog stood up for his development team, and actually part of the reason that the game was pushed to April out of its original release window was because he fought for 2 weeks off for his guys so they could recharge and regroup to finish off the polishing on God of War, because the crunch was getting heavy in Sony Santa Monica. So it's up to the studio heads to square off with the publishers as well and say, no, we're not doing this. We need to stop doing this. And the problem is in the video game industry, because it's such a competitive industry, is if a handful of people in the studio go, we're not crunching, they'll just fire them and a bunch of people will replace them. Because who wouldn't, if you're a video game developer, you're fresh out of college, university, or whatever, you want to work at Rockstar. You want to work on a big title that builds your resume. So there's a job position open at Rockstar. They're notorious for crunching. Are you willing to put in the 100 hours to get the reputation? It needs to be fixed. The problem is boycotting the game won't do anything. Boycotting games doesn't work. People boycotted Assassin's Creed Odyssey because of microtransactions. Best-selling Assassin's Creed game launch.
Boycotts in general, just not even in video games, just across the world, have not really worked out when you think about it.
They really
over the last few years. I cannot think of a successful boycott that wasn't enforced by blockade. I can't.
Yeah.
But that's a side note.
I mean, in theory, yeah. Like, if they were able to pull off an actual boycott of Rockstar, yeah, that would probably, have some change on the industry, because it's Rockstar. That's some publicity there. But the problem is no one's ever going to do it, because we talk a good game on Twitter, but everywhere else we can't help it. We're just not good at it.
That's the thing, though, is Rockstar got nailed for this when Red Dead Redemption launched. People got upset about it. GTA 5, this news came out prior to launch, because Rockstar always brags about their crunch time. It's a point of pride for them that they work this hard on their games. Which I get it to a degree, because you want to be proud of the product, but I don't think 100-hour work weeks are the answer. But they've come out and said this, and everyone in social media is always like, oh, this is bad. We shouldn't let them do this to developers. And then by the end of the week, we've bought the game, and we're like, this game's amazing. It was all worth it, I guess. And nothing changes. There's things within the actual industry need to change to force this, whether it's the upcoming video game union they talk about, but in my experience, unions really don't help a whole hell of a lot. But they need something. Something needs to change, but it needs to be done on the developer end, not on the consumer end.
Yeah. It's sort of weird that of all major art forms in the world, video games has this. I don't want to call it an epidemic, but films are famously finished weeks and months before they're released. Music, albums, and books, again, weeks and months before they're finished. But games get edits, like the infamous day one patch. They're changed up until the first day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a twofold thing of our industry, the video game industry, is still young by comparison to like the film industry
Of
and other
course.
forms of media, and so it's still coming into its own. It's nowhere near fully developed, and then be on top of that, video games are infinitely more complicated than films to make,
Of course.
and the demand for AAA polish and interactivity and immersion is only making it worse on that
Yeah.
aspect of things. And I say this as a hypocrite who is currently frothing at the mouth waiting to play Red Dead Redemption 2, okay? So before anyone accuses me, like, I get it. I don't know what the easy solution is. I'm not going to pretend to have one, but it is okay to wish better for these people. It really is.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's really tough because we want to do something about it, but I don't know exactly what to do that would help, that people could actually commit to, because that's the problem. Where we always talk a big game, we always say we're going to do something, but we always back off. But anyway, so I think we talked about games enough. We got to talk about the real topic of the day. Venom. So, is this the movie actually all of us have actually seen?
Yes, I think so.
Nick, you've seen it, right? You don't
Yep.
see movies.
Yep.
Yo,
God,
Nick
this
even saw it.
didn't even happen for
Nick
Infinity War.
crap, my curse. I was gonna say Nick even saw it. I thought I was the only person that I thought I had somebody else that didn't go to movies in here. Damn it!
Did you see it, Mike?
No, I didn't.
You didn't see it.
Mike,
You're the Venom
This is
fan.
your dude.
Mike,
This is
No,
your
I
dude.
didn't say it.
Like, this is.
I don't
I
go
thought
to
you were a
movies.
Venom fan. Oh my gosh, dude.
you need to make an exception for this dude. You really do.
Well,
Wasn't Mike the only guy hyped for this movie?
Yeah, I know, right? That's
Yeah.
why I'm so confused.
Right,
Like,
I was hyped for it. I'm gonna see it, but I don't go to movies.
all right, we're gonna talk about this, but it's gonna be like very mild spoilers. What I
If they
mean
show
by
you
this,
the trailers, it's good.
yeah, if it's in the trailers, it's obvious stuff. Like, for example, we're gonna talk about how Eddie kind of gets to the point, because it's pretty obvious what's gonna happen. There's a fall, and he's at a low point, and then he gets a symbiote. Like that's about as far in terms of specifics we're gonna go. I actually liked the movie. I was very surprised. And we have multiple videos of us talking about us thinking this was going to be a dumpster fire, that this was going to be a garbage movie because they couldn't have Spider-Man in it and all sort of stuff. But oddly enough, it worked. It was good. Like, it wasn't. Yeah. Now let's get this straight. This was no masterpiece.
This is no Marvel Phase 3. This is not Infinity War. It's not Black Panther or anything like that.
It's good, Transformers 1, maybe Transformers 2. You just turn the brain off, you sit there and you watch it, and you have a good time with it. But it's a little deeper, and it's different than other Marvel movies, at least MCU ones. It has a different formula to it, which is interesting. I think that's part of the big appeal of it. But there's a lot of little aspects of that movie that really work. I will say, for me, I was drunk during the whole movie, so that may contribute a little bit. But I'm still pretty coherent when I'm drunk, so I enjoyed it. I liked the movie. It, oddly enough, hit me kind of emotionally just because of where I was at in life, but it was good. I liked the movie. I had a good time watching it, and I'm not sure if I go see it again, but I might. If I'm drunk. But anyway, what did you guys think of the movie? I know actually everyone's seen it, so let's start with Nick, since you don't watch movies. What did you think?
I just thought it was enjoyable. I don't know. It's just you have to actually go in depth about this, because you went on a limb say this is better than Thor Ragnarok, this is better than Homecoming. You already stated the reason why I think this was a better movie than those movies. It broke that stereotypical Marvel brick block formula they use for their not big movies. I say they're not big movies. I'm talking about character build-up movies. You know what I'm talking about? How, you had the Captain America build-up, you had all the build-up to Civil War, you had build-up to Infinity War. Those are good movies. I enjoy Infinity War. That was a good movie. Black Panther was a good movie. I enjoyed all the Captain America movies. Iron Man can fall off a cliff somewhere. Those movies were terrible. But I just thought I like Hardy. Okay, like Hardy is like he's the best. He's one of my favorites, and I don't know. There was just something about his relationship with the symbiote that they did a really good job of doing that relationship. But I don't know. Like, I feel like if they had gone out on a limb and actually made this movie R-rated, it would have been better. And I don't mean just in the like gore options and everything else. There was just times where the film felt held back by the PG-13 rating. I don't know how really to explain this. And as I stumble through this, I talk about video games all the time. I do not talk about movies. I'm not a movie guy by any means. So watch me stumble through this. I just thought the action scenes were okay. It was an enjoyable movie. And I just had a good time with it. And I don't know. I just enjoyed it. That's all I could really say about it. I'm not saying it's the best movie ever. It's definitely not the best Marvel movie by any means. It's just a decent movie.
Yeah. Sam, what did you think of this? Because you actually saw this before I did.
Yeah, so one of my brothers, my brother Micah, wanted to go and see it, and I was like, all right, sure, we'll go check it out. I'll go watch it with you. I'll turn my brain off. And I fully expected it, full disclosure, to be horrible. I really, really did. But I ended up liking it. Like I said before, it's no Marvel Phase 3 by any stretch of the imagination, but more than anything else, Tom Hardy makes this work. Tom Hardy gives it 150%, and his performance, it must be seen to be believed. Some of the different stunts that he came up with on his own, some of the physical humor when he's adapting to the symbiote and getting that relationship down, and the way they interact, like, it really, really works. I definitely do agree with Nick. I think it was a little held back by the fact that it's PG-13. They really pushed the limits of PG-13 in a couple of particular areas, but it was enjoyable. It is a solid 7 out of 10 popcorn flick. Absolutely. Yeah,
I would say, like, with me, I dug it, but I feel like there definitely was an editing problem, and I know they did confirm this because Matt Hardy Hardy came out, Tom Hardy, sorry, not Matt Hardy. Tom Hardy came out and said all his favorite scenes were cut from the movie, and I think in terms of how the movie is structured, I felt like there was more time with him and the Venom symbiote, where they were kind of establishing their relationship, that was cut out of the movie. I feel like there was more time in that scene because most of it's him acclimating to the suit, and then, all right, let's go into the final fight kind of time.
Right. It feels like there's 50, I wouldn't even say 40, but 15, 20 minutes missing there. I can agree with that.
I felt like there was a little bit of time there that was like, okay, we're establishing what the terms are, what's the relationship between us. And they do a good job of already establishing that, but I felt like there was some actual showing, not telling relationship stuff that they didn't do. Mm-hmm. That was cut from the movie. I think a lot of the R-rated stuff was cut from the movie. That would have been way more interesting to see, but we got to get the kids in there so we can sell some seats. So, anyway, so all right, let's ask the Caesar of cinema himself. What did you think of Venom?
You're all idiots.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It means a lot.
Okay. Right. Okay. First of all, things that I like. I agree with all of you. Tom Hardy's amazing. Like, he's the only good thing in this film. What he wanted to do with this character, make it sort of like a buddy cop, but without a cop element of it, between him and Venom. Genius. And I would have loved a whole film of that. My problem with the film is like Origami, is that it's twofold. Please tell me everyone got that joke.
I did.
Thank you. I'm trying to do stand-up comedy. Can't you tell? Yeah, it's not too far. I just want to make the fucking stupid origami joke. Okay, so yeah, Venom is like, it's terribly structured film. Like, the writing is stilted. The character decisions make borderline no sense at any single point from a writing perspective. The acting is weird. And I don't know why they cast these people in these roles. Like Riz Ahmed is an amazing dramatic actor. Michelle Williams is an Oscar nominee. Jenny Slate is one of America's brightest comedic talents, and she's stuck in this film as a weird doctor. Like, this film makes no sense to me, and I can't wrap my head around why it exists. Like, I don't get it, and I can't piece any of it together. And then there's the end credit scenes, which I won't talk about, but are stupid and made me annoyed. I was in a stream with about 40 other people, and then when the first one happened, like, we all just went, "Oh, are you kidding me? That's boring."
All right, I'm gonna do an executive vote here. Out of the people who have seen this, because the end credit scene is quite obvious, if they're clearly setting up for a sequel, but like this is so obvious, Mike could guess what it is. Like, this is not that hard. If he hasn't even seen the movie, he could figure it out.
You know what? I'll actually say this: the end.
Are you guys okay if we say it?
The end credit scene is so obvious. I outright told my other brother what it was, and he didn't mind. Like, it's painfully obvious what it's going to be.
Like, okay, here's what we'll do. Here's what we'll do. If Mike can guess what the end credit scene is, we'll spoil it. All right, Mike. If you made a Venom movie and you want to set up for a sequel, what would you do in an end credit scene?
Well, it's got to involve Carnage in some way, shape, or form.
There we go.
We have a winner.
I mean, really?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how many directions can you go?
Seriously.
I will say. I mean, it's very obvious there was going to be Carnage. I think the person that they have and the way that they introduce this person is.
That's going to be interesting.
I'm just thinking about it.
I'm comfortable spoiling it because it's obvious now. So they do tease Carnage. They do tease Carnage. I won't go into super specifics about it, but the guy they have playing Cletus Cassidy is Woody Harrelson.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, they got Woody Harrelson.
That was our reaction, Mike. That was our reaction. Really?
Yep. Just like, huh. Interesting. Interesting choice.
Yeah, that's an interesting
Not
choice.
bad, but interesting.
No, it's not bad. It's not good. It's just, it makes you think, like, huh, like, I do sort of have a curiosity of, okay, what would Cletus Cassidy by Woody Harrelson look like? I'm okay. All right. That's not a question I knew I needed answered, but
yeah, it's not like manic 1990s Spider-Man cartoon Cletus Cassidy, but it's like serial killer, but not like crazy Victor Zsasz kind of serial killer.
Yeah, like
it's not trying to be crazy.
I'm not mad at that choice. I'm just kind of surprised by it.
You'll be annoyed at his wig.
Yeah, that wig is kind of weird. Anyway, so
but my feelings about Venom are well documented both on Twitter and in our group chat. Like, I don't care if you like this film. If you can like what you like, that's human nature. I need to know that you know that it's a bad film. Right?
Like I said, it's a popcorn flick. It is there are parts of it that are bad, but I enjoy it in a good way. Does that make sense? Can we compromise here?
It's like you enjoy watching it, bad.
But you know that it is bad.
I know it's bad in the same sense that I know shoveling candy down my throat is bad. It might be bad for me, but dang, it tastes good. You know?
I get what you mean, but I can't sit back and like watch the internet go, oh, Venom's actually quite good. I reckon that this is the whole you all thought it was going to be terrible and it's better than you expected. That doesn't make it good.
Like, see, the thing is, I call it good on a different level of good. Like, it's good in that it achieved its goal of being an entertaining movie. That's what it did. It was fun to watch. It was enjoyable. Is it a deep movie? Is it a movie that people are going to write their thesis papers on? No.
No, of course not.
Like, you're talking to someone who has written their thesis papers on things like this. Now, I wrote an entire college published paper on reconciling faith and reason through the lens of Doctor Strange and Tony Stark. Like, like I've actually written a paper on this, a 20-page paper. Like, no, like, but this, I'm not writing a book about Venom or any sort of like on any real piece of paper.
Now I want to write a thesis on Venom just to anger everybody, huh? But okay, I'll say this: I do have. Well, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's fine.
Now you know how I feel when I troll you guys with comments about Marvel films in group chat. It just feels good. because go ahead.
I'm completely off topic, so get it out of your system.
I was gonna say Venom doesn't have any depth like 98% of the MCU movies, so like, yeah, okay, it's fine. I 100% believe, and I agree with a lot of people, though, this would have been better if their Spider-Man had been in it and been R-rated. If they had somehow managed to get Spider-Man in there and R-rating, it could have been a better movie.
But okay, so that leads into what I was going to say. Everyone and their grandmother thought that this was going to be a box office bomb after the first weekend, and it's not. It's actually doing really good numbers. Like, it's beating Spider-Man Homecoming and Doctor Strange, just to give you an idea. It's crushing Ant-Man and the Wasp. So the question is,
they're really small.
I know, but I'm just throwing it out there. So the point is, what is Marvel going to do if this?
Thank you, Ivan.
Hang on. What is Marvel going to do now that this is a success? Because they can't just let it bomb and roll under a corner anymore. Now Sony knows that there is a market for their IPs here, and they hold the rights to all the remaining Spidey villains and Spider-Man himself. So what are they?
Here's what Marvel are going to do. They're going to sit down and count the money that they're making.
Yeah, but dude, keep in mind, you want Sony to withdraw Spidey from the MCU? I'm being serious here. Think about it.
Oh no, because Marvel will what will they do? Will they run out of heroes? They made Thor into a household name. They made Hawkeye into a household name. They're in an untouchable position. Marvel are going to be absolutely fine. Don't you worry. Sony are going to ruin it. They're going to run themselves into the ground. It's going to be fine.
No, you got to understand what the big play is right here. The only reason why Sony went out of their way to make a Venom movie, other than the fact that Avi Arad has been pushing for this ever since Spider-Man 3, other than that, and Sam Raimi, but the issue is they wanted to create it because they had this deal where the MCU is allowing for the use of Spider-Man in the MCU. And that is something that they've asked for, and they've gotten it, but it is a timed deal. It is not a permanent solution. So what's going to happen is when that contract comes up to be renegotiated, Sony is trying to increase the value of the Spider-Man property. So when it comes time for the contract to be renewed, they can ask for more money and say, well, what about the value of Venom now that we've added to the Spider-Man license? Because before, Disney could always argue, like, you don't have anything worthwhile. Like, you haven't done anything with the license. You haven't done anything worthwhile. In fact, you probably hurt the Spider-Man license with all this stuff. What they're trying to do now is like, well, let's make a Black Cat movie. Let's make a Venom movie. So we can actually go out and say, hey, we got something new going on here that could justify a higher price tag for bargaining purposes. That's what's going on here, and that's what they're referring to.
Yeah, I hear you. It's just and not only that, but I'll selfishly admit I want to see Tom Hardy interact with Tom Holland. I want to see this Venom.
That would actually be really kind of creepy.
I want to see Tom Hardy in the MCU. That's all I want, really.
No, that's not going to happen.
What if they did try to integrate him? The only way I could see them doing it is like Venom and Eddie are together. And he goes back to New York to kind of like maybe patch up his name or something, and like they come across Spidey in like a very random way, like with him not as Spider-Man, but like let's say the Venom symbiote's like, ooh, what's that? Like I sense something interesting, and so he kind of leaves Eddie and attaches himself to Spidey, and like maybe like 30 minutes of the movie is with them together. and Eddie's like, "What am I supposed to do? How do I kind of live in this scenario now?" Like, I don't know, maybe something along those lines. But and then like when Spidey gets rid of him, then it's like, okay, we got to do something about this.
Right, and not
Like,
to mention, but you can play with the conflict of like Venom is against bad guys, but he's eating them, which is a very anti-Avengers type creed and stuff. There's a lot of fun stuff they could play with. There really is.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe if they try to do like a Dark Avengers play, I don't know. Maybe could be interesting. Where like it would name only like let's do a darker hero group.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got one question before we wrap this up, though.
Yeah.
Did anyone find the first 5 minutes of dialogue with Tom Hardy's accent really jarring?
I don't think at this point I don't think anyone actually knows what his normal voice sounds like. So I mean,
Yeah, I don't.
I was gonna say it wasn't jarring
I have
because
no idea.
I expect it to be Tom Hardy, and what that means is unique to the film.
yeah, I mean, his normal voice is sort of just angry Englishman
Yeah.
from Luton specifically, which is an area of north of London.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds nothing like my accent, for example.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of like Benedict Cumberbatch, where it's like you watch him in Black Mass, you watch him in Doctor Strange, and you're like, this is weird, but it's okay. Like you don't think about it too much. Like
what's weird? In England, when we watch House, that's weird.
Yeah,
watching Hugh Laurie with an American accent is really weird.
Watching Hugh Laurie not do comedy is weird. Like that's my thing. Because I grew up watching Blackadder.
The actor who played Rick Grimes on Walking Dead in interviews. That's jarring.
Do you know Andrew Lincoln? Do you know what Andrew Lincoln's real last name is?
No.
Clutterbuck.
Yep.
I see why he changed it to Lincoln.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if a good actor, you don't actually know what they look like or sound like. They just get absorbed into the role. Just like Christian Bale in that Vice trailer.
Oh
my God.
Hell yeah.
I didn't even know who was playing Dick Cheney by the end of that trailer. I didn't even know it was Christian Bale. Like, that's how big of a deal that was.
And Sam Rockwell. Who knew? Who knew
he could be
Sam
a good
Rockwell
job,
as George Bush would be an amazing choice.
He doesn't quite look like him, but he has the mannerisms down.
Yeah.
He's got that down. But yeah, I have to see that movie. It's coming out on Christmas Day. I'm going to see it the day after. So
because there's no cinemas open on Christmas Day. Unless if they're run by
here there are.
Jewish people. Really?
Here there are. Yep.
You can find one. Yeah. Huh. Like, because all the Harry Potter movies came out on Christmas Day here. Like, not all of them. A lot of them.
The Harry Potter films came out in the summer.
No, what am I thinking? Sorry, I'm thinking about when they get played on TV. I'm sorry. I know, but there's a good chunk of movies that do come out right just around Christmas. Like, was it Greatest Showman came out around that time frame?
Oh yeah.
They do a lot of stuff like that. So at least here, and so you can go to a movie on Christmas Day. It's not a problem. A lot of people make that a tradition.
To sort of end the movie discussion, since it is Halloween at the moment, it is October at the moment, is the Halloween season. I can't urge anyone enough to go and see the new Halloween film. I got a very, very special 15-minute sneak preview of the opening of the film, and I can tell you that this is something really special for this generation.
Really?
Nice.
So I need to ask your opinion on this.
Yes,
I think I'm in the minority with this, but I actually enjoyed the Rob Zombie kind of like reboot of the first two Halloween movies.
I also
how does this compare?
Oh no, they're completely different.
Okay,
ignore that. It is. So, do you know the whole continuity issue with this?
I do not.
Oh yeah, it basically erases everything after Halloween 1, right?
Yeah. So there is the original, and then a 40-year gap, and then this film. 40-year gap in the context of the film. So like this takes place in 2018. It is the 40th anniversary of the time that Michael broke out of the hospital, and now he's done it again. Oh, what a card. And Jamie Lee Curtis is not his sister. That's not a thing anymore. Laurie Strode is just Laurie Strode. She was just a babysitter in the wrong place at the wrong time. They have got rid of the whole cult of Thorn. Oh god, the original Halloween continuity is crazy.
Cutting that Gordian knot was probably the best thing.
Yeah. Bringing them back to basics, that's an important thing.
Yeah.
Because Michael Myers is my favorite slasher villain. Like, just because I find him
like the ultimate one.
Dude, was scary. Well, I mean, you could argue, well, Jason is unstoppable. Yes, Jason's unstoppable. But it's just
the best
you don't
film
know where Michael Myers is going to be. That's the thing.
But here's the thing. The best Friday the 13th film doesn't even have Jason in it. The original, obviously. One? Yeah.
I actually was not a big fan of the original. I was not digging it.
Yeah.
I just wasn't feeling it.
But yeah. But for anyone who's like worrying about the new film, there's one thing I need to just bring up to your attention. It's the writer and director Danny McBride and David Gordon Green. You will know these people. Danny McBride you will probably know as a comic actor. David Gordon Green also one of the co-writers and directors of Your Highness and other comedy films. Now, you may see this and go, that's a weird choice for a comedy writer and person to be doing a horror film. May I remind you of the winner for Best Original Screenplay last year, Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
There are no people in the world who understand genre and horror better than comedy writers. So go into this, go into Halloween with an open mind, and get ready to be afraid.
So I always find that really interesting that it's always the people who the link between comedy and horror is so interesting to me. Like, if you go look at some of the directors who are into who make some like classic horror movies, they're some of the most fun, upbeat people. Like they're really fun. Like, they're funny people.
Yeah,
but then on the other hand, like
Wes Craven is golden.
What was it? George Romero. There's a couple other ones out there where like they're just fun, interesting people. But then on the other hand, you got guys who, like Robin Williams, great comedic guys who really have some dark areas they go into. Like, it's like, damn. And it's stuff like that I find really interesting. It's just that for them...
It's because horror movies it's just like the genre of like pure expression, and oddly enough, it's Wes Craven said the thing is that horror movies are not a place to create fear, it's a place to release fear. And so the more time you spend around horror films, the less afraid you'll be. And it's really quite true. Like, few things scare me anymore. But then again, if someone came up to me with a mask and a knife, I'd probably run away.
Or like you have a situation like that's why I don't see horror movies as being very scary anymore. At least it's not as much as games. Because games give you that agency, and that freaks me out. Like, you get really into it. But that's where I'm coming from. But we've got to wrap things up here. We've been going way too late. So, it's almost.
We had to make up for missing episodes, though.
We did. We did have to make up for
I'm
this.
already tucked into bed with my blanket and hot chocolate. I don't know what you're talking about.
Aww.
I'm wearing my official inner circle footy pajamas.
I hope you brought enough for everyone.
What, footy pajamas? No, hell no.
Yeah.
They're mine.
Yes, footy pajamas. Give me some.
No, we have to have full footy pajamas for everybody here, and they all got to be at least 6'2". So
with a butt flap.
Like, what the fuck?
I mean, if it's not a butt flap, what's the point?
Hector was going through the post-breakup traumatic experience, not Mike.
By the way, Mike, do you still not believe that I'm 6'1"?
I do not.
I firmly believe as well that in England door frames are smaller.
Yeah, that door frame looks suspect.
But what about the picture of me with Ashley Birch?
I don't know how tall Ashley Birch is.
Well, you can look that up, and I'm like nearly a foot taller than her. So there you go.
Well, I'm nearly like 2 feet taller than Todd Howard, so there you go. Yeah, didn't think I was going to go that far, huh? Did you? Anyway, so we got to wrap things up here. We do some of our outros. James, where can the good people find you at?
The good people can find me on the tweets at James_S Wilson, and also on Instagram at James Wilson with 2 S's and 2 L's. That's it. That's all my stuff.
All right, you don't want to say more, but okay. Sam?
I don't have any more.
You can find me on Twitter at Samuel Tolbert. That's TOLBERT. And I'm writing reviews, news, and opinion pieces on tickgamesnetwork.com.
All right, Mike?
All right, guys. Thank you for rocking with us again, as always. I'm going to get off here, and you can find me on Xbox playing Black Ops 4, because that's what I'm going to do.
All right. And Nick?
I'm shaking my head in disappointment at Mike. You can find me on Twitter at Undead3XVI for horrible gaming opinions, food, and me being partially naked on Friday nights. You can also find my written work on the Inner Circle Games Network, and you can also find new video content that will be coming on, I think, the weekend. Soon? Yeah, soon. And there will also be, I'll also be starting up a Twitch channel as well in the next few days. So yeah, get ready to watch me eat food, and I'll do some very dirty ASMR that involves a pop bottle, a taco, and The Witcher 3.
That is not a combination I ever needed to hear in my entire life. Dear God in heaven.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I didn't think I was going to hear that today. Okay. All right. I'm Anchorman BT. You can find me on pretty much everything at the same tag all the way around. Thank you guys for tuning into the Greatest Show on Mondays, episode 106. We are out of here. I hope you guys have a great night.
Yeah, buddy.